Hey, my name's Corey, and I'm here to help you decide whether or not you should go to law school. Basically, I think it boils down to about three factors. Factor number one: did you get accepted into an inexpensive college of law, usually a public university? And by inexpensive, I mean $10,000 to $20,000 a year. Factor number two: did you get a scholarship covering most or all of your student loan expenses? And number three, do you have a job lined up for certain once you graduate law school? If you answered yes or no to all of those, then you pretty much have your answer already. If you have a mixture of yes and no's, then it's a little more complicated, and we should talk about the pros and cons of law school. First, the pros. Number one, education. You're going to get a good education. You're going to get a great education, actually. You're going to learn to better think critically, analytically, to see all the different sides of every scenario, of every situation. You're going to be spending 3 years reading opinions from some of the smartest people ever. Most of your law school professors will be very intelligent, and a little bit of that will actually rub off on you. It is a good education. Another pro is a resume builder for many jobs, specifically attorney positions because it's a must, but for those non-attorney positions, it can be something that your employer sees as seeing that you can accomplish a very difficult task, a very time-consuming task, because that's what law school is, a very long, tedious, difficult task. And not everybody can do it, so some people see that as a definite bonus. Now, on the flip side of that, some people, especially in non-attorney positions, some employers will see it as a deterrent. They'll say, hey, this guy isn't serious about this job. As soon as he can get a better paying job, he's going to be out. He doesn't really care. And, honestly, I'm sure sometimes that happens, but it's frustrating when you're on the other end of that and you really do want that job and they're just not willing to give you a chance because you're too risky, you're overqualified. So keep that in mind. Let's see. The obvious pro to going to law school is it opens up the opportunity to practice law and all that entails, whether that's your passion in life or, the money that comes with it. Probably more likely that's the one, because who knows what their passions are? Nobody knows. I don't know. So let's get into the cons. Number one, obviously, is the expense. If you're a sucker and paying full price for law school, you're looking at about $150,000 when you graduate. $150,000 in debt, and a couple thousand more if you're going to do the bar classes, which you should do the bar classes. So another thing they don't tell you about those loans is the government's not going to pay for all of that. You're going to have to get some private loans in there too, and those private loans, not only can they not be discharged just like the federal loans, but you're not going to be able to get those forgiven on the federal loan forgiveness program or after the 25 years of payments. The second con would be the time it takes. 3 years. Those are 3 years where you could gain other experience, gain other skills, and you're kind of 3 years behind everybody else because you decided to go to law school. And then finally, another obvious con is the market. The market's dried up. There's not enough positions. It's too difficult to find an attorney position nowadays. Actually, in fact, New York Times, in the business section, I don't know if you can read that very well, the law school bust. And that was this week, and there's plenty of articles just like that everywhere else. So it seems to be unanimous that there's not enough jobs. And like that article basically in summary was a bunch of people describing how they racked up huge amounts of debt like I did, and they couldn't find a job like I couldn't, and it just makes for a bad situation. just to kind of give you my own personal bias so you can take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I graduated with $150,000 in debt because I paid full price to a private university. And, assuming I could get a good paying job fairly quickly or relatively quickly, and that just didn't happen. I took the first job I could accepted because, completely broke. And that was a state job for, supposed to be a placeholder. Uh, Turned out to be, a 4-year adventure, and realized that I wasn't going to apply anywhere else but other state agencies because, you know, at least this way, after 10 years of state service, I can have my loans forgiven. Well, the majority of them, I'll still have some private loans, probably about 25,000 after that. But at least I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. At least I'm not living in poverty for 25 years. I'm just living in poverty for 10 years. So, keep that in mind. So I think those are, the main things to consider. There's obviously others, and check those factors out. I mean, if you don't get a great LSAT score and you're not getting scholarships or accepted into inexpensive universities, then you're playing with fire. I mean, you're taking a huge risk, and just in all honesty, from me personally, I think it was a bad decision for me, and I don't want many of you out there following the same path I did, and saddling yourself with so much debt that adds so much more stress, and not being able to afford anything. I mean, what I bring home versus what I pay on student loans, it's horrible. So keep that in mind. If you would like more detailed analysis into the pros, the cons, as well as getting my full story, you can check out my book. It's on Amazon Kindle. It's just simply titled "Should I Go to Law School?" Again, my name's Corey Gum, and with sincerity, I hope that this helped some of you out there and provided kind of a counter video to some of the other videos that's, everything's all rosy and easy, and that's just not the case. Law school was a good experience, but it was just way too expensive and not worth the investment for me. So strongly consider that for yourself as well. And again, I hope this helped.